Hello, greetings. This is Gillesmansillon. So I come and wish you a good day. Say hello. We are in the midst still of this full moon in Aquarius, for it is opening up to the greater collective consciousness of the universe. For the Aquarian is the collective knowing of that greater understanding. And what's dominant right now is the conjunction of Venus, beautiful planet of love, that's conjuncting the sun, that is opposing the moon. And so this Venus is our choice, is our preference, is our abundance, is our wealth, it's our desire, it is the ability to manifest anything we want, anything we need, anything we desire. And so the Sun and Venus are moving forward, and the Sun is going to catch up to Mars, which is our willpower, the will to achieve things. And on the 24th, there will be Mars and Venus that will conjunct. So it will be the blending of our desire and our wish and our ability to make it happen. So it is quite a magical time and so I'm going to pull a few cards with the angels. And so, since there is a new Renaissance, I forgot to mention that in the French video, but in the early Renaissance, the Italian Renaissance, one of the highest art was to celebrate, to party. Parties were all around. It was the highest art that was considered. Leonardo da Vinci was essentially one of his essential function was to throw big parties, and so we're going to be able to celebrate life. For we are looking for this point of freedom, and it is coming. For the highest, the situation for us today is revelation. We have to trust what has been revealed within ourselves. What goes around the situation is the same thing as it was in the French reading. It's about the same cards almost. It's abundance. Abundance is the having the resources to do what we need when we need, and to not necessarily before, not necessarily after, but when we need it. We always have the ability to flow with this abundance, to let go of duality and flow with the river of life. What we see before us is forgiveness, for we have to forgive ourselves for our past. In our past, we did we couldn't do any better, but we did what we did, and now we learned something from our past, and now we are where we are from learning those lessons. And we have to forgive others, not to be tied to negative karma as well. So forgiveness is a constant process that we always have to work with for ourselves as well. In the distant past, in the subconscious, is creation. It is the wholeness of life. We come from the whole, from creation, and now we are in the process of purification. There is a continuous process of purification. It is a slow process. Do not judge yourself for not going fast enough. We want to go fast, but sometimes it takes time to disconnect all those old programming, mental programming. What is coming in the near future is liberation. There is a total freedom, the doorway to freedom, the abundance that is coming. What we are in this situation is authenticity, to sign on self, be true, to be more true to ourselves, to be more sincere, to be more clear, to be more... So once we become totally authentic, we drop the mask and we find our true self, we can be fully integrated within the program of our life. What goes around the situation is well-being. For we have to seek out those thoughts and the emotion that makes us feel good. For this is where the freedom lies, is the ability to feel good. Not to sing the right thought, but to feel good. Seeking the right thought is just an instrument to get the right feeling that allows us to find the freedom, the open doorway. What we see in our inner emotion, hopes and fear, is temperance, is not to be extreme in any way, to be neutral, to be balanced, not to be in judgment, not to go into anything, anything that could be... Temperance would mean that the light part of ourself is dominant over the darker part of ourself. And the outcome is joy. Joy is something that is that sparkle like a bubble. It's like bubbles that comes from within. That's like it is not something that can depend on something else or someone else. For sometimes people can be catalysts to higher joy, but it is because we are open to love, because we are open to joy, and joy is the fuel of life within the higher dimension. Joy is more than pleasure. And so I wanted to say that our goal may be love. The goal of our existence may be love right now, to discover this unconditional love, to be love, to be light, to be. Say, I am love, I am light, I am. But eventually we're going to come into the realization it is our foundation, it is our root, it is our ground, it is our base. And so although sometimes we may experience something that is the opposite of love, it is time for release, it is time for breathing, release, letting go. We right now we are learning to find this, define with this moon proper boundaries in relationship. And we have to have a look at the way we look at ourselves. We have to ease up on the self-judgment, because we sometimes we all have positive qualities and negative qualities. It is part of our process here on the earth, come from our education, our culture, our past lives, whatever. And sometimes our negative traits take dominance over ourselves, and so we judge ourselves to be unworthy because we see that we still have things to work on. But in essence, we have to ease up on those beliefs. For beliefs belong to 3D. When we reach the fifth dimension, we reach the true knowledge. But right now we're still in the 3D loop. Our mental process is still in this loop, and we have very difficult time to let go of old patterns. It's like we're stuck in the middle. We're no longer with the earth and completely ignorant that there is anything else in the universe, that we live our lives through the senses. In the third dimension, we're in the fourth dimension. We are searching for this light, but we're not yet totally in the light of the eternal now. Know that the dramas that we entertain in our thoughts will not be able to be manifested. The Spirit will not allow that, for there is a protection. And we need to integrate our ego, our soul, and our spirit. The ego, there's a positive ego and negative ego. And Venus is showing us these likes and dislikes. For we have to respect and honor our ego. For the ego is our individualized consciousness. The negative ego is the one who wants to control, who wants to negate, who wants to dominate, who wants to criticize. But the positive ego is the manifestation of our individuality in this world. So it is not to be, we shouldn't get on a war against ourselves either. We need to integrate all that. All the information that comes from the spirit world, whether it is through channel or through any other beings, are just pointing in the direction. Everybody's got to make his own way, and got to decide, to make the choices for themselves. And so, but there are many people that see that the spiritual ascension path, but they stop halfway because they have to reconsider too many things about themselves. It is important to be able to let go of our old beliefs and in order to reassess, to put in question who I am, in order to discover to let go of the ego, in order to let the God self become more prominent within ourselves. And so we'll pull a few cards from the Akash. Pull 4 cards, maybe more if necessary. These cards have been through a tropical storm, so they've been damaged, but I saved them. The highest wisdom for us today is the knighthood. It's about being courageous. It's about being brave. It's about being sticking to the integrity part of ourselves. What we need to understand is the figure of authority. We have to become a figure of authority. It's okay to trust your wisdom, trust your empowerment, and to bring that into the world. What we need to do is the lessons and the good deed. For we have learned lessons, and now we continue to cultivate the good deeds. And the outcome is the scribe or the writer. So do not forget to write, to communicate, to write down, take notes, or even publish. There may be a good time for thinking about starting a blog, starting a YouTube video, to communicate, to share your thoughts and ideas if you feel comfortable. But it will be more and more useful for all those who have discovered some of this inner light, that to anchor it and to share it. To receive it is a big part of it, but then in order to anchor it, we need to share it. And so I wanted to say the first contact that we're waiting for with the galactics actually may come or may not come through government. It will probably come through individual first people. For me, I made that first contact many years ago, decades ago. But it actually comes, often it can come from galactic, but it will often come from celestial, from our own guides, because they are extraterrestrials, but they come from much higher planes, and they know us so much better, so it's so much more comfortable. Although the galactic will bring amazing technology, so we want to cultivate that potential for first contact, for more and more. Even in the media, we'll see the first beginning of it, the trace that it maybe it's getting closer, for it will solve. Men will not be able to pass the shift, the ecological shift, without the assistance of the galactic. So at some point there will be an intervention from the galactic. When men are ready, they're not going to fear or war against them, to accept the assistance of the galactic. I also will say that all is relative here. I was also saying that once we reach the fifth dimension, we are realizing we are alone with God. There is no one else, nothing else. We are just it. But it's like we're still a piece of a puzzle. Once we reach that dimension, we need to fit into all the other pieces, and so the I become we, and we become one with a collective consciousness. For every order of beings, there are countless orders of beings that are created in the universe. For those who are interested in those spiritual things, I recommend you read the Urantia book. It's in audiobook on YouTube, or it's also available online in 27 languages. But it's a big book. But it just gives you an idea of the variety of spirit beings that exist in the universe. And all orders of beings were created as social beings. We all need to function with a social group, a social circle. It is not healthy to want to be alone in existence. There are only two orders of beings that are meant to function alone. One of them is revealed in Urantia, the other one is not revealed in Urantia, so I won't talk about it too much about the second order. The first order is the solitary messenger, the senior order of the infinite spirit. When they created the universe, they created billions or trillions of those beings. They're amazing beings. And they're here to function alone. They've been asked not to be more than two of them at a time. If there's three of them, they short-circuit themselves, they lose the connection to the other spirits. So they are solitary messengers, and those are the only beings in creation that are meant to function alone. The other ones that could also be conceived as functioning alone, because God has created us in His own image, equal to Himself, and the spiritual path responds to aspiration and condition within our life, but there is no limitation on our spiritual progress and evolution. And so we are ascending as children of God, but there come a point in time where certain beings can be deified, they can be made equal to God, at which point they become alone, they become one. There is no more need for anything, because they are one and all. And so those deified beings, we will have to understand them later on. But other than that, we are social beings, and we have to work together. That's very important to stay connected. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I'm going to sing a song, and for one more card will be Archangel, Archangel Tarot. This is a painting about the Earth. It says Urantia 606 of Satania, and it's on the trail to ascension. And there is the pink symbol of the sun in pink, and there is the portrait of the Earth. Here it's a painting of cosmology about the master universe, and here it is a white hole. It is symbolic of those white holes, like we have black holes, blue holes, white holes. There may be even other holes that they are like cosmic spirals of energy where our consciousness goes through to go into other dimension. And so this is like, if you meditate in front of those paintings, you may be you may be pulled into another dimension. For my paintings are interdimensional. When you're ready, they can take us into other dimension. You will reveal that this aspect will be revealed later on. And we'll finish with a song. It's a romantic song of somebody that says, "I can live with you, but I cannot live with you, but I cannot live without you." So it's like goes like this. See the stone set in your eyes, see the sun twist in your side. I wait for you. Sleight of hand and twist of fate, on bed of nails she makes me wait, and I wait for you. With or without you, with or without you. Through the storm we reach the shore. You give it all, but I want more. And I'm waiting for you, with or without you, with or without you. I can't live with or without you. And you give yourself away, and you give yourself away, and you give, and you give, and you give yourself away. My hands are tied, my body bruised, she got me with nothing to win and nothing left to lose. And you give yourself away, and you give yourself away, and you give, and you give, and you give yourself away, with or without you, with or without you. I can't live with or without you. Thank you very much for sticking till the end. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. For there are great, wonderful things that are right ahead. And I'm still not. I do not know. I don't have all the elements, but I know it is time to celebrate. It is time to get ready for great celebration. And we have the same card as yesterday, or maybe it was in the French reading. I'm not sure, but it is the King of Raphael. Warm, generous, honorable, and refined. It is a kind of relationship, of ideal relationship, of graceful relationship. Okay? And it says, yes, you can trust. Capacity to accomplish more than one thing at one time. Give free course to your artistic passion. So it is, well, I think the same card as yesterday. So it's amazing. In 78, there is no random really. And here it is the Lord Poseida. It is Raphael that is becoming the Lord of the sea, and the sea is emotion, and we want to connect to this great ocean of love and light. Well, thank you very much. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.